I'm MJ Kelly, and welcome to the first of many second looks. Today we're going to be talking about a film from 1995 entitled Casper, based from the 1960s classic cartoon Casper the Friendly Ghost. The film was directed by Brad Silberling, and the score was composed by James Horner. It stars Christina Ricci and Bill Pullman. The film opens with Kerrigan Crittenden and her right-hand man, Dibs, played by Kathy Morarty and Eric Idle. Kerrigan Crittenden's father has recently passed away. The lawyer reading her father's will, played by Ben Stein, explains to her that all she has in her name is Whipstaff Manor. Kerrigan, being the greedy woman that she is not pleased with what her father has left her. In anger, she throws the deed in the fireplace, but Dibs discovers that there is a hidden message in the deed. It explains that there is a hidden treasure in Whipstaff Manor. With this newly found information, they venture to the mansion in search of the treasure, but little do they know, the mansion is haunted. And then they make their first encounter with Casper himself, and shortly after, his three uncles, the ghostly trio. Now knowing that the mansion is haunted, she does everything in her power to get those ghosts out of her house. They try everything. Exorcism, one of the Ghostbusters, even a demolition crew. Nothing works. But then Casper notices an ad on the hard copy channel for Dr. James Harvey, the ghost shrink, played by Bill Pullman. What really captures Casper's attention is Dr. James Harvey's young daughter, Kat, played by Christina Ricci. Casper is instantly infatuated, and he's willing to try anything to get Kat to his house. But he remembers that previously, Kerrigan was trying to get the ghosts out of the house. So he quickly flies over to her motel, shows her the ad with Dr. Harvey, and right away she calls him over. Kerrigan calls Dr. Harvey, him and Kat are on their way over, and that's when the fun really starts. Casper tries making a first impression on Kat. Of course, it's just like every other reaction anyone's ever had when they encounter Casper. And Dr. Harvey encounters the ghostly trio.
Hi? Man.
Can you deal with that? Can you?
Now for the body of every second look. I call this segment Questions and Theories. Now I must warn those out there who have not seen Casper, there are spoilers on the way. So please turn this off and go watch Casper. Question: when did Casper die? I think this following clip will answer that one for us.
My treasure!
A ball? That's your treasure?
Are you kidding? It's autographed by Duke Snider, the Brooklyn Dodgers. My favorite player.
Casper, it's time.
Duke Snider played for the Brooklyn Dodgers between 1947 and 1962. Assuming that he did die in 1962, that would have made him 45 years old in 1995 when the film was made, and 60 years old at this day and age. Question: what were the ghostly trio's real names? Casper kept the name that he had when he was alive. So did Dr. Harvey, and so did Kerrigan when they both became ghosts. If you ask me, Stretch, Fatso, and Stinky aren't names that any reasonable person would have. Possibly, they changed their names when they all met in the afterlife, like gang titles. After all, they were the ghostly trio. Question: what is Casper's last name?
Is that your dad?
Mm-hmm.
McFadden claimed that he was haunted by the ghost of his dead son, and that he invented a machine to bring him back to life.
The newspaper article was referring to Casper's father. His last name is McFadden, therefore that's what Casper's last name is. Question: was Casper aged when he was brought back to life at the end of the film by Kat's mother? I think he was. They stated that he was 12, but he looked older than 12. Christina Ricci was 15 at the time she did Casper, therefore her classmates were. It would have seemed a bit awkward for a 12-year-old to walk around amongst a bunch of 15-year-olds. I think Kat's mother aged Casper when she brought him back to life. Question: is Kerrigan Crittenden related to Casper? She had inherited the mansion from her father when he passed away, but Casper lived at that mansion with his father and died. Does that mean that they're related? Did the family own the house all those years? Maybe not. Someone else potentially could have bought the house within the time period after Casper and his father had passed away, and before Kerrigan's father had inherited the mansion. Question: didn't Casper have friends when he was alive? Right after he died, back in the 60s is when we estimated he did die. Wouldn't he have tried to still see his friends even if he was a ghost? If so, they probably would have had the same reaction anybody else ever had when they encountered Casper. That's why he didn't have any friends at that day and age. Question: when Dr. Harvey had died in the film and then been brought back to life by the Lazarus, wouldn't that have meant that he had two bodies? The first one that was at the bottom of that manhole at the bar, and the second one which he had inherited from the Lazarus. If the police did a search and found his body, wouldn't they have been stumped to find that Dr. Harvey was still alive? Question: wouldn't Casper's father have been a ghost along with Casper and the other ghosts at the mansion? A ghost is a spirit with unfinished business. Otherwise, it just crosses over. Casper's father's unfinished business was that he wasn't able to bring him back to life, and he wasn't able to complete his machine in order to bring back his dead son. Wouldn't that have meant that his father would have been a ghost with them for all those years? Maybe not. Maybe he'd figured that there was no hope and he wasn't able to bring back Casper. Therefore he had no unfinished business. Therefore he did cross over. Question: wouldn't Casper have crossed over at the end of the film, now knowing that he made his father's greatest dream come true, as told to him by Kat's mother? Casper's unfinished business, along with his father's, was not getting the Lazarus to work and bringing Casper back to life. But now that it worked, there was nothing else keeping Casper there. So why didn't he cross over at the end of the film and go up to heaven along with Kat's mother? I think that because Casper now has Kat at the house, and he has her to watch over, that's his new unfinished business. Besides, it would have taken away from the point of him still being Casper the Friendly Ghost. It would have been a really sad ending. And also would have been a letdown ending too. Question: if Casper is able to form a spatula or a hot dog fork on his hand, why isn't he able to form a fifth finger?
Yo! I'm Casper. Sup, give me a fork. Oh, God, I'd kill for a pink.
Spirits can take on the form of anything they want. Why doesn't Casper just form an extra finger on each hand? He was based from the 1960s cartoon Casper the Friendly Ghost, and back then, just about every cartoon character had 4 fingers. They were trying to stick to the character. Besides, maybe a spirit can't hold that shape forever. Eventually, he'd have to go back to normal. Question: why did none of the Casper movies connect? Casper had made friends with Kat in this movie, but he made friends with a kid named Chris in the next film. But it was supposed to take place before this one, so wouldn't that have meant that he would have been friends with Chris by the time he met Kat? But it was made after this movie, so technically Chris didn't exist by that point. And then came Casper Meets Wendy. Wouldn't he have still been friends with Kat or Chris by the time he met Wendy? Maybe the films weren't supposed to connect. Maybe it would have disrupted the plot of the film by trying to explain why he lost one friend in the process of getting another. This has been Second Look. I hope this information has been insightful. Stay tuned for the next Second Look. Thank you for watching. I'm MJ Kelly.